Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss about a m- topic which is different from a normal energy, light energy, uh, which is a concept of modern physics which brings a lot of change in the all fields of technologies. For example, in medical, communication, military, defense, in every branch, uh, every area, these different kind of energy. It's a light energy. We cannot say this as a light. It is a different type of energy, different kind of light energy, right? That is lasers. It comes under the topic chapter modern physics. In modern physics we have three chapters. One is photoelectric effect, second one is optical fiber, and third one is a laser. Lasers is a last topic in the modern physics chapter. So what is laser actually? So before studying about discussing about the laser, first we remember we should remember once what is light. Light is a kind of energy. It is released when electrons jumps from one orbital to or one energy level to another energy level. You are everyone are aware about the Bohr's atomic structure. You studied the Bohr atomic structure in your high school and also in this uh, diploma in chemistry, I hope. Alright. So in Bohr atomic structure, Bohr reveals that the electrons of different energy levels or different orbitals jumps from one orbital to another orbital, right? When the electron is jumping from low to high, high to low, right? So here, to jump from low to high, we require some energy. You are on a for example, you are at a ground level. You have to go to first floor. So you need some energy and you need steps or anything. Directly you can't jump from here to there, or someone should push you, someone should throw you to the first floor, then only you will go. So here when the electron wants to go from lower level to higher level, it needs energy. If the you are falling from the first floor to the ground floor, you don't require any external energy or external force to jump from there, right? You falls freely. That is the when the electron in similar the when the electron is jumping from higher energy level to lower energy level, the energy releases. This energy is a light energy. It emits energy in the form of photons, that is the light energy. The normal light sources, artificial sources such as electrical bulb, tube light generates light from same process. These are the light and tube lights generates light energy in the same process. When the electron jumps from higher level to lower energy level, uh, they emit some energy, right? But the light sources not emit highly directional uh, and coherent light, right? This what leads this what the difference between these normal light and this laser light? First, Einstein give a theoretical basis for the development of these lasers. Laser is a light which is differ from the normal light, conventional normal light energy. It has a high directionality and coherent light. This lasers produced with a high directionality and coherent and polarized light beam, right? This differentiate from the conventional normal light energy. Light is ex- light This laser light has extraordinary properties which are not present in ordinary light sources like sun, lamp, tube light or light. That's why it has a wide range of applications in all the fields of which are related to the comfort and safety of a human being. This laser light, is acronym by the light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So, see in the name the laser light. L is a light, A for amplification, S for stimulated, E for emission, R for radiation. So you can understand the what is laser from this acronym only. So it is a radiation which is emitted by the process of stimulation and amplified light. A radiation which is emitted by the stimulated and amplified. So laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. The laser is a device. It generates amplified high intensity light. Amplified high intensity light. And it produces high directional light. This high directional light production is possible by the process of stimulated emission. Some lasers generates visible lights. Some lasers generates invisible lights like ultraviolet and infrared radiation. So these lasers are developed based on the theoretical concept given by the Einstein in 1917. Einstein predicted the possibility of a stimulated emission process possibility predicted by the Einstein. Based on his theoretical basis, these lasers are developed. In 1954, Charles H. Townes and his co-workers put these Einstein predictions for practical realization. Charles H. Townes worked on this theoretical basis of a stimulated emission of electrons. In 1960, the T.H. Myman built the first laser device. The Einstein, this is the basis for the laser is Einstein's theoretical prediction, that is the possibility of stimulated emission. And Charles H. Townes and his co-workers put these Einstein predictions for the practical realization. They worked on this and they realized that this is possible. In 1960, T.H. Myman built a first laser device. So laser is a light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Here it has a laser device has a source and a anode, cathode, right? So this laser is works on the principle of absorption of radiation, spontaneous emission, stimulated emission, and population inversion. So with these principles, the laser can be emitted. So what is absorption? Absorption is the process by which electrons which are in the ground state, which are in the ground state absorbs some energy. Initially, the electron is at ground level or lower energy level. It takes external energy from outside and it moves to higher energy level. The process to jump electron from higher energy level to lower energy level to higher energy level, the electron takes some energy is called as a absorption. Here consider the two energy levels. Energy level E1 take as a lower energy level and E2 as a energy level 2. So see this picture. This is E1, this one is E2. The difference between these two, E2 difference E1 gives the photon energy. So here this photon energy is taken by this electron and it jumps to higher energy level. This process is called as a absorption. The absorption is a process by the electron, by which the electron of the ground state absorbs some energy to jump to higher energy levels. The electron in the ground level, whereas the electrons excited to the second energy level. These electrons are called as excited electrons. The electron takes some energy, photon energy, radiation energy, and it moves from lower energy level or ground level to upper energy level. That energy electrons are called as excited electrons. When this photons or the light energy equals to the energy difference of the two energy levels, E2 minus E1, or difference between the E2 and E1, the ground electrons energy jumps from ground to straight to higher energy. This is called as a absorption, right? So the absorption is a process by which electron in the ground state absorbs some energy, photon energy, which is equal to h nu, that is equals to E2 minus E1. E2 is a excited state and E1 is the ground state. The exact electrons which move from lower to higher, that electrons known as excited electrons. This is called as absorption. Next, in that absorption, after absorption, the electron moves to higher energy level, right? So electron moves to higher energy level, but this excited electron cannot stay there for the longer period. It comes down. The electron comes down from higher energy level to lower energy level, which is equals to E2 minus E1. So no excited over the ground levels. So this is incoherent. Not in the same electrons. The electrons which are falling, it does not remains at a higher energy level, then that electrons jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level. It jumps from higher energy level to lower energy level. While it is jumping from higher energy level, for example, higher energy level is E2 and E1 is a higher energy level is a E2. E2 is a higher energy level. E1 is a lower energy level. When the electron goes to upper energy state, this excited electron does not remain here. It falls down. It comes down and it emits some energy. That energy is called as spontaneous emission. That is itself the initial state. It is coming from the higher energy excited state, the electron is coming from high excited state to ground level. So without any external energy, the electron jumping from higher energy level to lower energy level, that is equals to E2 minus E1, which is equals to h nu. This equivalent amount of energy is emitted by the electrons. So this process is called as a spontaneous emission. In this process, where the electron in the excited states jumps to ground level by emitting some photons, this is called as a spontaneous emission. So the spontaneous emission is a process where the excited electron is coming down. So by the absorption of some energy, the electron gains some energy and it moves to higher energy level. When the lifespan of this higher and at the excited state, it is very less. It is equal to 10 power minus 8 seconds. So within that shortest period, the electron at the excited state or the higher energy level comes down. While it is coming down, it radiates some energy. It emits some radiation. That radiation, which is equals to the difference between the two energy levels. So higher energy level is taken as E2, lower energy level is taken as E1. Then the E2 minus E1, E2 minus or difference E1 gives the released energy. This process is called as a spontaneous emission. Next one, stimulated emission. So what is spontaneous? What is stimulated? Spontaneous and stimulated. Stimulated, in the name you can say that someone should stimulate to move. You are individually, for example, you are in a classroom, you had an exam and tomorrow, so you have to work for this examination. If you are preparing, you are doing work without other suggestions or motivation, individually you are doing, that is stimulated. Sorry, it is spontaneous. You got the idea, you got the thought inside you. No external factor is affecting your thoughts. If you are not interested to prepare, you are not interested to read the concept, read the particular subject, but due to the force of parents, force of teachers, force of friends, or all the classmates or all the friends are reading, or they are working on the particular examination, preparing for the examination, then you got the interest. That is stimulation, right? Here, in this laser process, when the radiation is absorbed by the electron, it moves from lower energy level to higher energy level, right? That is the absorption. When the lifespan of at excited state is low, it comes down and it emits some radiation, that is called as a spontaneous emission. But if you are giving some energy, take some radiation photons to come down from the higher to lower energy level, then that is called as a stimulated emission. So see this picture, the spontaneous emission. In spontaneous emission, initially it is at highest energy level, it is at higher energy level, it is coming down and it is producing some radiation. But in stimulation, from higher energy level to, it takes some photon energy to come down to the lower energy level. It is taking some energy, and the external energy taking the radiation, it is falling down. That is called as a stimulated emission. The process by which the incident photon induces the electron in the excited state to make a transition to lower energy by the emission of photon, called as a stimulated emission. The emitted photon travels in the same direction as incident photon. The new photon has the same energy that of the incident photon. Here it takes this energy, it is taking this photon energy and coming down from the excited state. So the produced energy is same, the direction is same with a constant phase relation. So the a photon which stimulates the electron to transit from the higher energy level to lower energy level, and it releases some photons, it emits some photons. In this process the emission of photons takes place. The emitted electrons and the stimulated photons both has the same intensity, free same direction and same energy. They are said to be coherent, each of with a constant phase relation. Each of these emitted photons will act as a stimulus to the two other atoms already in the excited state. The two emitted photons will act as a stimulus to the next two electrons already which are in the excited state. So this turns the emitted of four photons. The stimulation and emission process continues. So one photon stimulates and two photons released. These two photons stimulates the other two photons. It produces four emissions, four photon emissions. This four produces double, right? This process continues. This stimulation and emission process continues, and the production, it produces the high intensity monochromatic high directional coherent beam. That beam is called as a laser. The number of photons emitted in the stimulated emission depends on the number of electrons in the excited energy levels. Depends on the exact number of excited energy levels, and the intensity is increased incident radiation. It depends on the process. The number of photons emitted in the stimulated emission depends on the number of electrons which are in the excited energy state and the intensity of the incident light. By these two factors the number of photons emitted are changes, right? Here next we have the characteristics, what makes difference from this laser beam from the normal conventional light. So major differences, the unique characteristics it has. This beam, the stimulus emitted process continues, and the high intense monochromatic high directional and coherent beam produces. This is a laser. It has a unique characteristic that differentiate this laser light from the ordinary light. These are, what are the differences? The one is a directional monochromacity, coherency, directionality and high intensity. So first is a directionality. So what is directionality? So you observe that the normal light, if you focus a normal conventional light or a torch or bulb to the wall, whatever the source, whether it's a lamp, torch, tube light, whatever you take, it travels in the random direction. It travels in the random direction. For example, you are producing the conventional light, a normal light from a torch light and a beam from the laser, and you are focusing the laser and this conventional light to the 10-meter distance wall. The 10-meter distance obstacle is there, you are focusing that. So if you are away from the 10 meters, then this conventional light or normal light spreads 10-meter diameter, right? It spreads in 10-meter diameter. But this laser light does not spreads into that particular laser distance. it focuses on a particular area. So highly laser beam, it the in normal light the laser beam spreads, but in laser it does not spread. It moves in a single direction and it goes to the higher distances. This is a high directionality. And next one is a coherency. What is coherency? Coherency produces the coherent which are in the same phase, same wavelength, same frequency it produces. That is the coherency. The photons emitted from the ordinary light have different energies, different frequencies, different phases, different wavelengths, and different colors. So the light wave of ordinary light is a source have many wavelengths. The photons emitted by ordinary light source are the out of phase. They are not in the phase, but in this laser light, it has a same frequency. The photons which are emitted by the laser, they have same energy, same frequency, same color. It produces single color and same wavelength. Everything, every property of a light has same. Every radiation, every photon has same energy, same frequency, same wavelength, same color. Hence the light wave of laser light has single wavelength or single color, right? So it is a coherent, it has same phases, same energy, same frequency, and it has monochromacity. All the photons emitted by the lasers has same wavelengths, same frequency, so it has a same color which produces, right? It produces same colors. The light waves of other frequencies are different. It produces single color wavelengths, and high intensity is the fourth one and important also. The intensity of wave of the energy per unit area flowing through the unit normal area. The intensity means the wave intensity of a wave, intensity of a light, the energy per unit time flowing through a unit area gives the intensity. So see this, at the highest distances it is focusing, and the single lights, the monochromatic lights are focusing and they has the highest intensity. In ordinary light, the light spreads out uniformly in all directions. In lasers, the light spreads a small region of space in a small wavelength range. Hence the light has a greater intensity when compared to the normal light energy. So to produce a laser beam, it is masked. The stimulated emission should be there. To produce continuous stimulated emission of energy, where it requires a population inversion. Consider the energy level. E1 is the lower energy level and E2 is the higher energy level, and in between that it is a metastable state. So where the process, actually the electrons at the ground level are more. When they get absorption, due to the absorption they move to the higher energy excited state. The lifetime of at excited state is very small, they comes down. So we have to produce a metastable stage to accumulate these excited electrons. When the excited electron lifetime is also very less compared to the lifetime at a ground level, so they stimulately comes down, and they get the stimulation and comes down, and they produces the radiation, coherent radiation. So the process of achieving the more number of electrons at the higher energy level as compared to the lower energy level is called as a population inversion. So general population means the number of electrons are more. Number of electrons, for example, so this is the lower energy level, this is a higher energy level, E1, E2. So electrons are more here. This is a normal condition, but we need this. This is E1 lower energy level and E2 is the higher energy level. We need this type of process achieving this type of condition, less electrons and more electrons in the higher energy level. The achieving the number of electrons in the higher energy level compared to the lower energy level is called as a population inversion. The number of electrons per unit volume in an energy state of the population is called is the population. What is population here? The number of electrons per unit volume in an energy state, in any energy state. Here, in this energy state, the number of electrons per unit volume. How many number of electrons are there in that energy state? It is called as a population. Here, this is a population. Actual population should be like this, but we achieved this condition, that is called as a population inversion. This is important factor, important process to get the laser lights. Here we developed different types of and you need this process of population inversion, and you require this pumping, right? So in lifetime of electrons, the energy, three energy levels in here, the excited state, ground level and metastable. Three energy level system, we achieved population inversion between the ground level and excited level. This process of achieving population is called as a pumping. The process is called as a pumping, right? We have different based on our requirements, we developed different types of lasers, right? So types of lasers, first developed laser device is a solid state laser. It's a device, right? So for example, solid state first developed is a ruby laser, ND YAG, neodymium YAG laser. These are the solid state, means the source of the laser beam is a solid. And next one is the gas lasers. Gas laser, for example, helium neon laser device, laser and argon ion laser, carbon dioxide laser, carbon monoxide laser. This comes under the gas. And liquid lasers, organic dye laser. Organic dye laser is an example for the liquid laser. And semiconductor lasers. Semiconductor are PN junction diode lasers. These semiconductor lasers are also called as a diode lasers. Example, gallium arsenide lasers are the examples for the semiconductor lasers. So for, coming to the solid state laser, it is a ruby laser. Ruby laser is a synthetic. Ruby is a synthetic sapphire aluminum oxide doped with a chromium oxide. It's a combination of aluminum oxide and chromium oxide. Here, see this red color is a ruby, and flash tube, green color is a flash tube. Fully reflective mirrors, two sides. Here, the pumping level. The ruby laser is used as a pulse laser, which produces red light with a 964 nanometer. After receiving the pumping from the flash tube, the light emerges as long as excited by the ruby rod. Here pink color shows the ruby rod. This is a process where the electrons takes place. This is the higher energy level. Blue color shows the higher energy level. At this red color, metastable stage. This is the graphical picture So chromium atoms plays an active role for the laser action, and aluminum oxygen atoms remains inert. Right? It's this is a ruby laser is a 3 level laser system, and you can see this helium gas laser. Here we are using the main source of this process is a helium neon gas. In this tube, so this is a gas reservoir. You can see this gas reservoir. In this reservoir we fill the helium and gas. So side castings and mirror here, and outer housing, starter ring in your cathode, and here Gitla, right? Gas reservoir is a partial mirror is available here. This is a laser output. You can see this picture of the ruby laser. This is a ruby laser, construction of ruby laser, and this one is a helium neon lasers. So we have different wide number of applications of these lasers in all the fields in our daily life. So in medicine, in communication, in medicine, in communication, in military, in industries, in scientific research institutions, everywhere, every area we are using these lasers. So in the military also, in defense, we cannot leave any area of the application of these lasers, right? In medicine, lasers are used to bloodless surgery. We can focus the particular area or spot without any cuttings on the skin or any cuttings on the body. We can do the surgeries. The laser technology is used highly in the eye lens corrections and the retina corrections, but that is if retina damages due to some external accidents, then you can correct it by the using of laser surgeries. But if the eye is accidentally or incidentally affects with a laser, no one can correct it. It is a very dangerous, but you can use in a good manner, that is best. The lasers also used to destroy the stones in the kidneys. The kidney stones are destroyed by the broken by the laser light. We focuses the laser beam to the particular kidney stone, then it destroys the stone, and the destroyed particles of the stone comes with a urinary tract, and they are removed. And lasers are used in a cancer therapy. Lasers are used in a endoscopy to detect the ulcers, to illuminate the internal parts of the body by using the optical fibers. By using optical fiber endoscopy, laparoscopy, the source of energy for the optical fibers are used as a lasers are used as a source for the optical fiber endoscopy and laparoscopy processes. The lasers also used in the treatment of liver, lung diseases. Lasers also used to study the internal structure, microorganisms and cells, and the lasers are used to remove or kill the cells, cancer cells and any damaging cells. You can directly cut the tumor or kill the affected cells, right? These are the applications uses of the lasers in the field of medicine. We had lot of applications, um, lot of applications in the field of medicine. Lasers are also used in treatment of calories or decaying of portion of the teeth. In dentistry, in dentist we are using the dental problem to solve the dental problems. Lasers also used in the cosmetic treatment, removal unnecessary hairs, uh, plantation of hairs, growing of hair technology like that. We are using everywhere in the cosmetic and medical field. In the communication, the lasers bring a lot of change in the whole world. Without any doubt, we can say due to the production of lasers, the communication makes much easier whatever we are enjoying today. So lasers are used as a source of optical fiber communication to send information over the long distances without any loss. This is a major revelation. By using optical fiber and as a source laser, we are uh, communicating everywhere without loss, without delay. Laser light used to underwater communication networks. These are used to space communication, radars, satellites. Everywhere we are underground, we are using these lasers as a source to pass the energy with pass the signal without energy, without loss of energy. And in industries, in lasers are used to cut the glass, cut the diamonds, cut the quartz. Lasers, we are using lasers in electronic industries for trimming the components of integrated circuits and to detect the minor defaults in the major industries, major power plants. Lasers are used for collect the information about the barcodes and price printing on the products and the shopping malls, right? So we are using these, we are seeing all these direct applications in our daily life. Lasers are used in you come to the science and technology field, computer printers, computer technology, the readers, computer readers, CD-ROM. It is used to produce chemical reactions. Lasers are used to create plasma. Uh, Lasers are used to count the number of atoms in a substance, and they are used to store the information or in the data. CD-ROM laser helps us in determination of the rate of rotation of earth accurately, and used to detect the earthquakes, used in holography. We are printing the 3D pictures using these all laser technologies, and we are storing the information. Blu-ray technology or laser technology we are using to store the information in our CDs. And in military, lasers are used to determine the distance to an object. uh, Other radars, other country radars or other defense, other country aeroplanes are coming to fight with our military, then our military can determine easily the distance of that object or distance of that aeroplane or the missile, and they can stop that or they can damage it at that particular point. And lasers are used to determine the size or shape of a distant object or the war weapons. This is a light detecting and ranging system, rading system. And lasers are used to focus the target in the use of laser guns. We are using laser guns to focus the targets. And lasers also used to destroy the aircrafts or missiles by focusing the high energetic laser light for few seconds. And lasers can be used as a secretive illuminative during the night with a high precision. So these are the some of the applications of lasers. We can use these lasers as a tattoo removals, or skin growing, or to uh, remove the unnecessary hairs on the face, to treat human and animal cancers also. Micro surgery is possible, used in holography, barcoding, tattoo removal, printing, removal of birthmarks, retinal phototherapy for diabetes, treatment for skin diseases, used in a welding and cutting of metal bodies. Lasers have been used successfully in the treatment of detached retinas. These are the major issues, major applications of the laser lights. Laser lights. We are using this laser light in daily life. In daily life, we are using these lasers in every area of our usage. So medical, defense, military, communication, every area we are using these um, lasers as a wide scope. We are using even these lasers in shops, barcoding, rate determination, like this. So hope uh, by this you got the concept of laser and production of lasers and types of lasers and applications of the lasers, right? So this lasers is a very high potential, high scope. It has a wide scope to do the work of research and concentrate on the applications of the lasers. We had wide scope of the lasers to use in industries and scientific areas, and in research we will do the work, and we can apply this technology to the all fields of human, which are related, which brings the life of humans comfort and secured in terms of information, in terms of defense, in terms of military. It has a wide scope, right? I hope you got the concept of you will learn the basics of lasers by this lesson. Thank you all.